Hello, everyone. It's Reimmerse back for month 11, almost 1 year. Very, very exciting. This month was good. This month felt really good. Really kept up with the immersion. I was pretty consistent. So, what I've been doing is most of the time on the weekdays, I'm listening to like a video, like just audio in the car on the way to school and back. So that's like, 45 minutes to an hour of audio. And then I'm trying to watch like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of like a Netflix show at lunch and before bed. And on the weekends, it slips a little bit, but I think overall I've been pretty consistent with it. And I know I talked about this last month, but it's really starting to have um, an effect. Like I actually feel like I literally haven't touched Anki. I haven't done any additional grammar study, but I like am understanding and comprehending more. And especially like I've been watching, so this month I really got through like the second season of Singles Inferno, and like I just watched like the final half of the final episode on the plane ride just now, and I barely use like I sometimes like most of the time I don't even feel the need to even like do English subs at all because I understand it. And it's not all of it, right? It's like 60 to 70% is what I've been saying, but it's like I genuinely understand what's going on. And like they're like it's crazy. Like they say sentences and you just like get it. And it'll be like kind of a long sentence. And it feels a little weird with like I feel like I don't know that much vocab, but and it feels like there's no way like they say like the same words over and over again, but like I swear so many of the sentences are just like the same most common words. Maybe it's like just this TV show, they just say the same things over and over again. And like sometimes there'll be a sentence where they kind of like use some more advanced vocabulary. I have no clue what's going on, but it really feels good. Like it feels good, my level of comprehension right now. And I wrote down that like it makes me want to start like immersing more and watching more content. Like I think back in like January, um, I like tried to watch this drama and I like really couldn't follow it because I actually like had no clue what was going on, like zero, like 10 to 20% comprehension. But like with like Singles Inferno, like it makes me want to watch some of these other dramas I've kind of added to my list because I feel confident that I'll be able to keep up with what's going on. And it's like really kind of made me start to resonate with like the original Refold language, right? Of this like comprehension barrier. So we've kind of talked about these, and I don't even think I'm close to these, but like the language does start to become fun. Like it's at the point where like I would like be upset with myself if I like stopped because like I genuinely feel like I've made a decent amount of progress. Like and I can really start to see like wow, like I'm really um like I'm comprehending this like foreign language. It's really really cool. Um of course still I've kind of with motivation like I talked about on the weekends, like of course always it's a conscious choice to immerse, and always like doing that has trade-offs. Like there's other things I'd like to do, but I think kind of finding really dedicated times in your day when you're like, this is when I am immersing, really helps, right? So in the car I'm like, this is my immersion time, and at lunch like this is my immersion time. That's really really helps. Another thing I've started to think about this month was output. So just today there was this message, and this is from the announcements channel of the Refold Korean Discord server. And this has always been something kind of interesting with Refold, where they're very anti-output. And it's not like they're anti-output. It's like they want you to be careful when you start output. And I totally understand the reasoning. I think a lot of people really rush to talk because that's like one of the main ways to kind of show your skill with another language, right? Like it's kind of boring to kind of acquire all this language, but like not really be able to show anyone, right? Like I can watch this TV show, but I can't talk to anyone. But I think it makes a lot of sense theoretically where like the original, I think, like MIA like mindset was if all you do is immerse and immerse and immerse and immerse, then and you like never say anything that you haven't previously heard, you'll always sound natural, right? Where like if you start talking immediately, you're doing so much kind of like half translation in your head where you're not really like thinking in the way the target language is spoken because you just haven't heard enough of it, right? You're kind of like translating like directly from your native language, and you kind of like invent your own version of the language. And like you might be understood, but it's not going to sound natural. And so the idea is that if you just spend a ridiculous amount of time just input and input and input, and you only say things that you've heard before, they will always be natural. And that can only happen when you've really done the thousands of hours of immersion. And I believe that. I do believe that. But I think over time, they've kind of realized that like a lot of people really struggle, I think, with that. Like output is a big thing for a lot of people. And so, yeah, it looks like they're kind of trying to change their relationship around that. And I don't really think I've read some of the like later guides. Like, yeah, I have not read this stage 3 guide yet, because I like I haven't looked at this in a while. Like, I would say I'm probably, am I past stage 1 right now? Yeah, I'm definitely past stage 1. So I'm like in stage 2, and I would say I'm probably around like 2A, 2B right now. And I think it's interesting because like I really should go back and read these. I think that'll be very helpful. I'm gonna go do that after this. But definitely there's like a big jump. I think it feels like, especially in the refold, where like you need to be pretty good before you start talking. And I still feel that. And if we also look at like a slightly different approach, right, like this Korean fluency path, it doesn't have you kind of start outputting until like 2 years. And I'm at 1 year right now. And at 1 year here, you can start if you're kind of feeling ready. Outputting will show your flaws. And I absolutely agree with this. Like, I was trying a little bit with some friends, and what I made really clear to my friends, I was like, right now we mostly talk in English because I found friends who are really good at English, and they're really nice people. But what I told them is like, one day there's going to be a time when I want us to like fully speak in Korean. But when that happens, like, I need you to be like ruthless with your corrections, right? Because, I've definitely had those kind of situations where like you can totally understand them, and it's just kind of like tedious to correct every little thing. But like I made my expectations very clear. Like, when I talk in Korean, like, if there is anything, like even the smallest thing I say that is not like a word you could, like a sentence you could see coming out of a native speaker's mouth, like, you have to tell me. And I think that's really important to kind of set your expectations. And that's really important to me because sounding natural, again, is really important. But I kind of started it, and just to kind of, test the waters. And like, it really kind of exposes the gap between your, like, I guess, of course, like your output knowledge versus your input knowledge. Like, there's a lot of like comprehension stuff where like it feels kind of magic, right? Like, you couldn't really recall that word, but like you see it, and like in the context of a sentence, it just like makes sense. So you're just like, yeah, that makes sense. But like, when you try to start saying things, you're like, holy shit, like, I actually don't know how you're supposed to say this. And I think there's a lot of stuff like that. And I do think that that's like kind of an immersion thing, because it especially comes up when like there's stuff like, maybe you could like literally translate it from English, but you want to say it the Korean way. And like, if you just haven't heard enough Korean people say those kinds of things, you don't know the answer. So you can either ask someone, or like, you don't want to try to basically guess and get it wrong, right? And then also there's this idea of like shadowing, where basically you like adopt a parent. And again, they kind of talk about that here, and I just haven't read these guides in a while because I really haven't kind of approached this point until now, of like adopting a parent that you basically like shadow, where you like kind of play the audio and say it out loud, and you basically just try to like basically just like imitate this native. And I was gonna do this person like Dex. He's a YouTuber, and he's pretty fun. He's on Singles Inferno, but I guess he like kind of has a bit of an accent because he's from Busan. So might need to find someone else for that. But yeah, so starting to think about output maybe a little bit. The other big thing that came up this month is I know where I'm going to college, which is very exciting. The college I'm going to doesn't have a like full Korean department, which I actually don't think is the worst thing, because Refold even talks about like classroom learning is not really the best way to learn a language. Like, it means like I won't be able to get like a minor in Korean, but I don't really think that matters. Like, either you're fluent or you're not, like, I don't think the minor is really like that telling. I would say probably like TOPIK matters a lot more, right, than a minor. And so I think it's actually probably a better use of my time to, instead of taking some class with a bunch of stupid assignments that like isn't really what I want to work on, like spending time studying what I want to study. But what is really important is they have a study abroad program in Korea. So that would probably be like sophomore year, maybe junior year. So it's still at least like over a year and a half away of me even applying for that. But that's pretty exciting. Like, they have this program with Yonsei University, which is like one of the kind of prestigious like private universities in Korea, which like that could be really cool. And so that is kind of like a cool motivator to like yeah, like let's keep working on this Korean. So like when I really want to study abroad, I think this like there's nowhere else I'd really like to go because of course I'm studying Korean. So I think that would be a really cool opportunity to do in college. But again, that's like a year and a half away. So maybe something to look forward to. The other thing I wrote down for college is thinking about how to fit college in, or how to fit Korean into my college schedule. So I don't really know how busy I'm going to be, but I think obviously I'm not going to be driving to school like I am now. So I'm going to need to find other times in my day that I am going to be able to immerse. And there might be less of that. Like at the beginning, I might be busy. I'm not really sure, so we'll see how the kind of time and motivation fits in then. But that's pretty exciting. I feel really good. Again, it's not really that concerning that there's not a Korean apartment there. But that's coming up in a couple months here. So overall this month, again, pretty good. Like I feel really good about the immersion. Like I watched that final episode of Singles Inferno, and like it really felt like holy shit. Like I am understanding this. Like it's really a great feeling. And it really makes me again like believe even stronger in the kind of like refold like MIA AJET approach when you start to see some results. So that's been great. And I will see you guys back again in a month for 1 year. That is crazy. The channel is doing pretty good, right? 172 views on the last video. Thank you all. 11 likes. Really appreciate that. Got a couple comments too. I really, it really makes my day when you guys comment and just like tell me about kind of how you've been learning and how I've maybe been helping you or just an interesting perspective. So that's really great to see. And a year of this is just crazy. Yeah, I honestly, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that I stuck with it, but I think it sounds about right with where I'm at. Like, I think, the like doing like Anki like grind every day for a year was never going to happen, but I think I found a really healthy way to make it work for me. And it looks like I'm still progressing at a pretty healthy rate here. So I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you guys are still enjoying the video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 1 month for 1 year. All right. Bye-bye.